The Delosaurus is the only reason I have any working computers at the main station right now, and judging by the dust that's been piling up, I think I may know why.
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
Remember when this thing was brand new and had just been put together in the summer of 2016? Well, it's been nearly 2 years and this thing has just chugged and chugged along, but now it's starting to flake out. And today, I finally got a postcode as the thing was starting up, after a few starts where the video card didn't seem to be starting up as normal. I think we may have dust in a connector that shouldn't be there. This is going to be the first of the various tech casual videos that I wanted to do that would cater more towards a more mainstream audience who is still actually afraid of their computers. Because all I'm going to do to this thing is give it the old Nintendo treatment. Clean the connectors, get all the dust out of it, and see if it starts working again. Because I'm sure there's probably enough dust making it into the case right now to mess with some kind of connection somewhere. A RAM socket, the graphics card socket, whatever. So we'll grab some cotton swabs and some strong alcohol for the computer, not me. We'll grab some of that stuff and let's see exactly where the dust got into that it shouldn't have gotten into, because this thing sits on the floor and the case is designed to suck dust in from underneath. So that's why I call them dust sucker cases. I still haven't used this stuff up yet? It's been like 5-6 years. Of course, we all know why. I keep buying new stuff of cleaner stuff before using up the old cleaner stuff. Yeah, let's just wipe down the top with this handy-dandy lint-free. Yeah, right, that's better. Now, about this. Dust in the lens. I hope I don't get dust on the lens. No. Yeah, that looks better. How about the other side? Winter, of course, is dust bunny season. Because, it's drier, there's more stuff in the air that stays in the air for longer. Humidity actually is a good thing for making stuff actually stick to things and not go airborne. This place has a bit of a problem with dust because of the carpet on the floor. I gotta put something soft on the bottom so the underside of it can stop turning into plastic dust. I've got some ideas on that for later. Let's see here. Let's make this thing look like a proper monolith again. Ah! Straight to the floor! Yeah. What is this, Multimedia Stewart home living? Not quite. Of course, this is basically like polishing a rotten watermelon at this point, because what lurks beneath? Oh boy. Dust filters, even dust filters have their limits. Maybe I need carpet cleaner to clean the inside of the door. Well, what else do you call this material? It is kind of like a rug, but a little bit harder. It's noise canceling, blah blah, but it's not dust canceling. Oh boy. And that's what dust filters are for. Much better. And now, public service announcement. Dust filters don't filter out all dust. Case in point. And that was trying to get into the power supply. What's that stuff? Is that mold or mildew? No, it's just spots of dust. And some cobwebs. That's why I call these things dust sucker cases. I mean, when you're bringing your air in from underneath the case, what do you think's gotta be in there? Much better, but we still haven't quite gotten to the computer version of making sure the bratty kid washes behind their ears when they take a bath. Whatever. Oh, what do you know? Yeah, I figured some stuff was getting into the case finally. Yeah, dust suckers, dust filters don't filter out all dust, and look, cobwebs down by the power supply. Ew. By the way, usual rules when cleaning this stuff. Never spray directly. Spray the thing that you're going to wipe things down with, and then use that to get everything all nice and clean. It's definitely, I probably should take the duster can to at least some of this, but I'm about to pop this thing open anyways and see what's messing everything up. Of course, I added the wireless dongle because we're over in the project area. The HDMIs and stuff like that. And, yeah, there. Now that looks much, much better. Amazing what a little multi-surface cleaner and a lint free can do. Bingo! Looks like the thing was sucking some dust in where the pressure was a little off. We can see it on the back of this thing. And of course we got dust that settled on the bottom of the power supply. Quite a decent layer of it. Try the duster thingy first and then wipe down what's left. Looking much, much better as the system is now on its side. And there isn't much dust down by the motherboard or anything, but it only takes one fleck of dust that messes with a connection somewhere to screw things up. I've seen computers that wouldn't boot because there was a tiny piece of something that somehow made its way into a RAM socket between the RAM chip and the socket. Never say never in this business, but all the failure points are basically where things snap together. So, I mean, for the most part, the important stuff. Because whether we like it or not, a lot of big peripherals in computers run kind of like old video game cartridges. Except we leave them in for years and years and years at a time. And this is a relatively clean system as well. Now, the issues I've been having have been related to when the video initializes. So let's pop this 1060 out and see if there's anything in the socket that doesn't belong, and wipe down the connectors with some alcohol. By the way, no spraying circuit boards, obviously. I don't want to risk shorting out the motherboard or anything. But despite all the computer stuff, those of you with less of a tech background that may be watching, notice all I've really been doing is just wiping this thing down like it's a piece of furniture. 1060 is out and it's picked up a little bit of dust in its fans as well. Let's take a look at that socket. Is there something in there that doesn't belong? I don't see any flecks of anything. Did it change color? Let's see here. Focus! Yo, computer thingy that runs the camera. That thing with all the dots. Yeah, that's right. It only takes one thing. Let's bust out the alcohol. Finally found the alcohol. That's why Geekhouse 5S needs to be a thing this year. So just like an old video game cartridge, let's give it a good scrub-a-dub-dub and see if anything comes off. Don't think the camera's picking it up, but I see a little bit of gray. The good news is that a lot of connectors on newer cartridges and computer peripherals must have some anti-oxidation coating compared to the olden days, because I usually don't see anything like I used to see on really old cartridges. A little bit of stuff. Sometimes the computer won't start, and I scrub things down like an old cartridge, and then that takes care of it, and I see stuff come off on the Q-tip thingy, and then bada bing. Etc., etc. Doo-da-doo-da. And anything on this side? Yeah, I'm seeing the camera's not picking it up, but naked eye-wise, I see things getting a little dark on the edge. Camera's not picking it up because it's very, very faint. Maybe if I jacked the contrast or something. Okay, let's reseat this when it dries out, and let's try this on the RAM sticks too. Actually, no. Let's skip the RAM for now and do process of elimination because it would be harder to remove than the graphics card. Let's see if the postcode was a graphics issue first before we go pulling the RAM out. That way, having gone over everything, if I see another postcode or another failed boot or whatever, I know the RAM is all that's left to check. Process of elimination. Okay, let's cook test this thing. As in, turn it on and see if it cooks. Standard boot. That's the way that should be. With a postcode! And it started right up afterwards. Now, those of you that were wondering, what about check signal cable? It wasn't plugged in the back of the TV. I wonder if that might cause a post error if there's nowhere for the video to go. That'd be some weird code update, if that was the case. The computer needed to be cleaned out anyways. Let's shut the thing off, kill the power, wait for everything to drain, and try it again before it warms up. Round 2, this time with HDMI hooked up correctly. Code? Nope, just a post screen. Let it get really, really cold. Let's let it get really, really cold. at the 9 to 5, and then come back and start it back up again. See if we can get that to show up when there's something... Or, no! Let's get scientific here. Let's disconnect the display again, turn it back on, and see if it throws a fit. Conditions replicated. One last try to see if this has all been for... Well, it hasn't been for nothing. I mean, this thing would have to be cleaned anyways. Okay, come on, monitor, start throwing a fit. Analog. Check signal cable! Yeah, because nothing's plugged in. Nowhere for the video to go. Start up. Really? This must be some kind of update or something. Started right back up. So now I've turned everything off. HDMI is still hooked up. Does it still throw a fit? We'll have to simulate leaving it off for a few hours. Beep! Anything else? Nothing. I don't remember. Maybe it's... Did I install a BIOS update in this thing that might have done this? That might be the case. Is that what the latest BIOS revision does? Starts beeping if there aren't any video sources after it starts up? Because you saw what this thing did. It did its beep that it passed the test and then belly ached. I gotta look up that code. And leave the computer off for several hours to see what happens when everything's hooked up right and I get back. Well, let's do that. Off to the 9 to 5. Well, we've definitely tested the heck out of this thing because it hasn't just been a couple hours, it's the next day. Time to stop blowing this off and get this thing back into service. So, let's see if the BIOS is super picky about the HDMI handshake. Ready? This thing has been off for hours and hours and hours, but the power was not disconnected. We get the beep, everything's cold. Do we get a postcode? No, we do not. The thing is, because of the Scepter or Spectre or whatever it is and the Meltdown and the microcode doohickeys, I actually did download a BIOS update onto this thing, and I just learned that there's another BIOS update available as of this month. Well, it was good to clean the computer out anyways. Monitor is now off. So let's give the video nowhere to go because nothing's powered on. I think that's what it was. I think that the TV didn't start up soon enough, or, accept the HDMI handshake soon enough. It's off now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because there's still mechanical drives that have to spin down inside this thing. Contact. Nowhere for the video to go. Beep. And... this thing is making me look like a moron.
Epic fail.
Which leaves but one option, and one option only. Disconnect the HDMI cable. A flaky HDMI connection of some sort. And not necessarily that the cable's plugged in and there's no power, which is okay, because as part of Geekhouse 5S this year, I want to standardize the HDMI cables that I use. Alrighty! As well as a bunch of other things that you'll be finding out soon enough. Beep! Okay, no cable. At all. We have an HDMI... This whole thing has been the result of a picky BIOS, and it throwing a fit if the HDMI flakes out and there's nowhere for the video to go. There's our answer. But at least the computer is squeaky clean. Let's hook it back up, and let's definitely clean out the spot where it goes first, so it doesn't just suck a bunch of new dust inside the place. Case, something. I'm a night shift guy and it's mid-afternoon, I'm still waiting for the coffee to kick in. Whatever. Much better. You'd think these two machines were made for each other. Now, if only the place wasn't such a disaster coming out of sand and salt season. We shall be fixing that, though. Time to apply the BIOS update and live happily ever after, with this thing now freshly cleaned up for spring. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by.